But hey, it is safe to say that this has been a weird season of life. And we don't really know what is like. There's just a lot of things out there that are weird. And as I was thinking, like, how do I say that? Like, how do you kind of paint this picture of the struggle that has been some of 2020? I thought, what better way to paint the picture than by showing some of my favorite memes that I've seen from this season? And so if you don't mind, this is my birthday, so this is my gift to you, is I'm going to show you some of my favorite memes that came in. I posted something on Facebook, and I got 75, okay? And so if I didn't use yours, it's because I finished this on Tuesday, okay? So like they kept coming, and I love them, but these are a few of my favorite ones that I saw during the season. Okay, the first one is this. Every time I see COVID-19 written out, I read it to the tune of "Come on, Eileen." If I have to bear this burden, so do you. So that's just something kind of to set the stage. Then there's, now kind of go back to the first part of the season, okay? It happened over Lent. A lot of us gave up stuff for Lent, okay? Honestly, I hadn't planned on giving quite this much up for Lent. That was my feeling. I don't know about yours, but this one, I like this one. Turns out my top 3 hobbies are eating at restaurants, going to non-essential businesses, touching my face. Yeah. It's fun. It was fun watching Zoom calls and like people's hands all over their face, and you never really thought about it until they told you not to, and now it's all I want to do. Like right now, that's all I want to do is touch my face. But it's like, okay, this one's funny. 2 types of people during quarantine. I'm taking this time to better myself. I just ate carrot cake with my hands. I don't know which one of those you are. But I'm eating carrot cake with my hands. Okay, this one makes me laugh too. Medium chunky. Me too, salsa. Me too. Like, I don't even know that has nothing to do with, but that was the one that I couldn't stop thinking about. And so I just felt like you needed it. And I think you did. Like, that feels really, really good. Okay, this one's a Kermit one. And it says, sounds like thunder outside, but the way 2020 is going could be Godzilla. It's true. It really could be, but we don't know. All right. And this last one is really hard to read, so I'm going to get a little bit closer to it. So it's like the weather thing, and it says, yeah, this is the closest I can get. I always wondered what it would be like to live during the Civil War, Spanish flu, Great Depression, Civil Rights Movement, Watergate Dust Bowl, and once something about, I can't even read it. It's something about the plagues. It's really good. And it starts talking about how hard things have been. I can't read that one. I should have checked that one beforehand. I didn't. But it's my birthday, so you just got to forgive me. But here's what all these illustrate, okay? You can look at it. It's in the bathroom in the men's room. Ladies, just ask before you go in. But here's what these illustrate, okay? Here's what these plagues, the 2020 is illustrating. Is that if we were to be really honest, 2020 has been hard. And a lot of people process it like challenges with laughter. But if we were to just, it wasn't what we expected. That there's a lot of things that it's just, we're going to remember this year, and though we've got some good memes maybe out of the deal, the truth is, the things that we're going to remember, it's probably going to be more pain. And the hardest part as we go ahead and go forward is that we really don't know what the next few months are going to look like. We don't. I think that's what makes this season so particularly difficult. Because in this season, there are a lot of unanswered questions. Like, you don't know if you're going to homeschool your kids this fall. We don't know. Some of you are like, I ain't, but you don't know. You don't, and this is so petty and so small, but I don't really, we don't know if there's going to be a football season. We have no idea. I'll be honest with you, what made me the saddest during this whole thing was I read this article in Sports Illustrated by Peter Enns talking about how they didn't think football was going to happen. And you can laugh at me all you want, Part of August is me getting excited about what's going to happen in the next few months, which is me getting really sad about Nebraska football. But still, like we don't know. Like we have literally no idea whether or not it's going to be, if our falls are going to look like they've been. That's hard. Even this part, like here we are, it's July 5th. We have zero idea about whether or not we're going to shut down again. And really depends on who you talk to. They're going to tell you yes or no. And so as you look ahead and as you project into what is next, it's hard. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things that we're just like, yeah, I don't know. And so as I was about a couple weeks ago, I was sitting there just reading the Psalms before I went to bed. And I came across Psalm 123. And I screenshot it on my phone because I was like, this is exactly what we're feeling right now. And I just want to read it to you. And here's what we'll know is there's so many things in this season that we can't know for sure. But what this psalm shows is it shows us what we can know about God. And at the end of the day, there's always going to be uncertainty, but Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So this is true then. It's also true now. And it'll bring us hope in the midst of uncertainty. But this is Psalm 123. And you can feel 2020 all over this. He says, to you, I lift up my eyes. O you who are enthroned in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their master, and in the eyes of a maidservant look to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God till he has mercy upon us. Have mercy upon us, O Lord, have mercy upon us, for we have had more than enough of contempt. Our soul has had more than enough of the scorn of those who are at ease and the contempt of the proud. I think that we all can say, yeah, I've had more than enough in one way or another. This has been more than I thought it would be. This is not what I expect. And so what does this show us about God? Well, it shows us a few things. One, it shows us is that in this season, one of the things that is absolutely true is that God is exalted. He's exalted. That he's the king. He's in charge. He's the best. That he is the one. I mean, look at what he says in verse 1. Talking about who God is, it says, to you I lift up my eyes, O you who are enthroned in the heavens. Like, don't let the imagery on that get lost on you. He is enthroned in the heavens. That if someone gives that title to themselves today, you will call them a narcissist, that this is who he is. And here's the thing, that if this is who he is, if he really is exalted, if he really is enthroned in the heavens, then what that means is that when you feel the weight of any season, he can help you. That when you're tired, he can help you. When you're done and you just want to give up and you're tired of fighting and you're tired of all the uncertainty, he is exalted. That he is enthroned in the heavens. Now, that's what he is. That's what he does. He can actually bring solutions to your issues. But here's the thing. You got to treat him like one who is enthroned in the heavens if you want him to help you with the solution. That we, in this season, like we're all about looking for help. We're all about looking for perspective. We're all about looking for a way to make sense of what's happening. And that's good. But God's one that when you look to him, you don't look to him in a way that's like, you know what I'm going to do? I know the answer to this. I just want him to confirm what I already think. Or I've already got these opinions kind of made up about how things work and whatever, like, and so I'm gonna let God confirm what I already think to be true. And here's the thing, He's enthroned in the heavens. He doesn't have to confirm anything that you think. Only thing that matters is what He thinks. And that when we come to Him just confirming an opinion that we already have, you have made a version of Christianity that isn't the real one. That as we approach God, we approach Him as one who is exalted in the heavens. And so that means it don't matter what I think if it's different than what He thinks. It actually doesn't matter what I feel if it's different than what He says is true. And here's the thing, because of who He is, when we do anything else, we look like fools. Because He's right. He's enthroned in the heavens. And kind of an example of how I saw this flesh out in my life, okay, it happened this week. Okay, and so I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook. And honestly, some of them are just because I like to watch people fight. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, I just like to watch it. And it's all good. Like, I'm just like that Michael Jackson meme where they're eating popcorn. Like, that's what I do. And so, like, when I'm not reading the Psalms before bed, I'm reading angry people in groups. And so I came across this this post in a group that I'm in. And I'm going to show it to you. Like, this is a screenshot of a news article. And it says this. It says, Billy Graham statue removed from downtown. Okay? Now, I saw this article, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Billy Graham statue? Like, Billy Graham? I went to his museum in Charlotte. Great dude. Like, great dude. I'm like, man, he loves people, like, preaches the gospel. Like, there are pictures of him in Africa with scores of people. Like, I mean, I'm like, man, what are they doing taking down his statue? Okay, and then I read a couple of comments in the post, just because I was like, I wanted to see what people were saying. And let me read a couple of these posts. Okay, well, this one. It says, well, the devil is sure having his way in this old world. I think the end of Christianity as we know it is coming swiftly. Maybe a little strong, but I mean, it's Billy Graham. So then I read this one. And it said, as it was in the days of Noah, those days are closing in, and it's just a matter of time when anything and everything that reflects the character of Jesus Christ and His bride will be attacked unless He intervenes. I'm like, whoa, that's maybe a little strong, but I mean, it's Billy Graham. Then you know what I did? Clicked on the article. You know why they took down the statue? It's because Lifeway, the publisher who owns the statue, moved locations. Yeah, that's why. They were in Tennessee. Now they're in Asheville, North Carolina, where the statue currently is at their new location. Oh, that article? Yeah, it was posted in 2016 too. Like, that's the other piece about that. Okay, so I'm looking at these people comment. They didn't even read the article. They just had this opinion. And instead of doing the research for themselves, they already had their mind made up about the world. Okay, when we come to God and we tell Him everything that we already know to be true, we're doing the exact same thing. We're saying, hey, confirm my biases. And He's saying, I am exalted in the heavens. I'm just going to tell you what's true. And you see a really great picture. You guys thought I was going to get really political when you saw that article. Like, I see it all over your face. Like, you're like, oh, man. Some of you are, like, getting ready to stand up and cheer. And some of you are like, oh, no, what's he going to... Like, I see it all over you, man. That was good. But, like, how do we respond to the one who's exalted? Well, you see it. How do you respond to the exalted one? Look at what he says here. Behold, as the eyes of the servants look to the hand of their master, as the eyes of a maidservant looks to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord, our God. That this is a picture of how you respond to the one who is exalted in the heavens. You don't come to him and tell him what you think is true. You come to him and you go wherever he tells you to go. That the picture of the hand is one where it's like, okay, he makes the gesture to go that way, you go that way. He makes the gesture to do this thing, then you do that thing. That if he asks you to jump, you say, how high? That is the picture. The picture is that hey, God will speak, he will direct, but you've got to be willing to do what he says. And when you come to God, just telling him everything that you've already figured out to be true, well, that's not how you're approaching him. Then you're just kind of approaching him, trying to direct him in that way. You know, we're living in a time where, don't we want to hear his voice? Like, don't we want to know what he says? Don't you want to know kind of what his thoughts are on things? And I think some of us are there. But as we're there, we're having a hard time because we feel like it's been a lot of silence. Like maybe you're like, man, I wish he would direct me. Like I wish he would tell me. I wish he would point. I'll go. And if that's your heart, but you haven't experienced that recently, then I would challenge you to maybe evaluate two things. Like if you're not hearing his voice, well, are you giving him the time? Like, are you putting in the time to hear his voice? And here's what I mean. Like I think a lot of us are like, yeah, I've been doing it. Like, but if it's just like a couple verses here and there, maybe you call your devotions just scrolling Facebook, reading the verse of the day 700 times, like, and then maybe your prayer life is just maybe a passing thought before bed, and that's about as far as it goes with regularity. And then I don't know that you really do want to hear the voice of God. I don't know that you really want him to speak to you, because if you did, you'd give him more time. And the other way we see, and this is definitely here in the text, is like, well, maybe God isn't speaking because last time he did, you didn't do what he said. You sit there and you know what he wants. Like, you know what his word says. You know what the truth is, but you've kind of you approach him with an attitude that says, no, I know the answer. And he's like, well, why would I speak if every time I do, you tell me why I'm wrong? Why would I keep pressing on your heart if we go back to the last several times I did that, you just said no to me? That isn't how we approach the one who is exalted. And so as we consider this season, as we consider, hey, I want answers, like I want to get through this, well, okay, what do we know about God? Well, we know he's exalted. And then we also see that God gives mercy. That this text shows us that he is exalted, and at the same time as he is exalted, he is a God who is very quick to show us mercy. And what happens is that we get mercy and justice mixed up. We treat them like they're one and the same. That justice is getting what someone deserves. You do a crime, you pay for it, that's justice. That you want a service, you pay for it, that's justice. That's getting what you deserve. But mercy is getting better than what you deserve. Mercy is you do something wrong. Everybody knows you did it, and you don't have to pay for it. That's mercy. Mercy is someone sees you're going through a hard time. They want to be there for you, and so they offer to do something to help, even though maybe you didn't do anything to earn it. Like that's a picture of mercy. And the picture of God is a picture of one who freely gives mercy. Because we don't want his justice. Not in our lives. Because our sin would render us all guilty before him. But instead of him treating us as our sins deserve, what God does is he gives us mercy. He gives us better than what we deserve. And you see that this is what they're looking for here in the text. Is in the midst of all of this frustration that you see here, what is he longing for? Is he's longing for mercy. And the fact that he goes to God for mercy shows that he is a God who clearly gives mercy. I mean, look here in verse 2. He says, behold, as the eyes of the servants look to the hand of their master, so the eyes of the maidservant look to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes will look to you till he has mercy on us. That the picture there is one saying, God, I'm going to continue to do what you say until I have your mercy. That God, I'm going to continue to obey you. I'm going to continue to trust you. I'm going to continue to honor you until you show me mercy. So sometimes we get that backwards. We say, God, I'm going to honor you, then you'll show me mercy. Or show me mercy, then I'll honor you. Show me mercy, then I'll do what you say. Show me give me what I want, and then I will follow you. And the truth is saying, no, you keep doing what he says. You keep doing what he wants in hopes that someday you will get mercy. And then in verse 3 it says, have mercy on us, O Lord. Have mercy on us, for we have had more than enough contempt. So we have to be careful with our definition of mercy, too, that when we approach God for mercy, oftentimes we do so thinking that that picture of mercy is one of God giving us exactly what we want. That's not how mercy works. He gives us what he knows we need. And oftentimes what we need isn't what we want. And as we think about this season, the question we have to ask ourselves, okay, so how are we going to look at it? Are we going to look at it as one who is gracious, or are we going to look at it as one who is entitled? Someone who's gracious is going to look around and they're going to see the good that's happening because they realize that in God's eyes, we deserve justice. But there's still good things that we're able to experience, and so he's given us mercy. That a merciful person or a grateful heart who's aware of God's mercy is going to look at this and they're going to see the positives that came in this season. They're going to look back and they're going to be thankful that they had more time with their family. They're going to look back and they're going to say, it's really good that I still have a job right now. They're going to look and they're going to be like, you know what, it was kind of cool to be considered an essential worker. Like there's going to be, that's how they're going to approach this season. And even as we look back at kind of getting back to, I'm going to put normal in quotes, they're going to be thankful for the normalcy that they're able to enjoy. I remember it was the middle of April. We'd been in quarantine. We'd been in lockdown for about a month. And I came into the church to film the message, and I saw cars here. And I was like, people? I know people. And I walk in, and the band's practicing, and I walk in the room, and there's 10 people. So one more person comes in, we all get arrested. But right now, we were good. And it was so, just refreshing to be able to, be around people. There's people I used to see every week that I took for granted. I'm like, man, at least I get 5 minutes with you before I go back and preach to a camera. It was nice. Remember what we used to do in the grocery store when we saw someone we knew? We'd hide behind that aisle and hope they passed. And you can look at me judgmentally like you don't do that, but let's be honest, we all do. Then during COVID season, you're like, that looks like someone I know. I'm going to go ahead and oh, sorry, didn't mean to breathe on you. And that's kind of how it goes. There are little things where you're this is what a grateful person does. They're looking at this situation that's tricky. They're looking at the aftermath of what we're calling 2020 COVID, and they're saying, you know what, but there was some good in it. There were some things in there that are positive. There are things that I'm going to look back on during this season and I'm going to thank God for. The entitled person views all of those things way differently. The entitled person looks and says, man, this is so stupid, I still got to work from home. The entitled person, they're going to be like, are you serious? They have to take my temperature? The entitled person is going to be like, I'm just so frustrated that I can't see things back to normal, instead of appreciating the things that are here. And here's what I'm saying. We all feel it. We're all frustrated. We all probably wish that this wouldn't have happened, but we're here. We get to choose how we think about it. And if God is merciful, then anything good in this season that we're able to experience is not something that we deserve. It's a gift from him. Because we deserve far worse than we'll ever get. So for us, it's important that we train ourselves to see the good. That we train our minds to think of where he's been good to us. And here's the thing. This season will pass, and I can tell you that in your life, difficult ones will continue to come. And if you can learn the discipline of seeing the good in the midst of the bad, it doesn't really matter what's going to be thrown at you. You're always going to be able to see something good, and you're always going to be able to see something bad. You get to choose what you want to think about. But at the end of the day, God is merciful. And then the last thing we see is that God is our hope. That he is our hope. Look at how it finishes here in verse 3 as it says, "Have mercy on us, O Lord, have mercy on us. For we have had more than enough of contempt. Our soul has had more than enough of the scorn of those who are at ease, of the contempt of the proud." Here's what I love about this psalm, okay? That doesn't seem very hopeful, does it? like, wait a second, that's hope? But the psalmist, his hope is clearly God. But he hasn't experienced it yet. And isn't that us? Like, he's our hope. But we're still waiting. That he's our hope, but man, we're still looking around, and I'm kind of tired. I've had, like, even that phrase, like our soul has had more than enough. Yeah, we could probably all get that tattooed on our arm, but 2020, like, we could. But God is still the hope. That even in the midst of this season, where maybe we're like, there are good things that can come out of it. There is a deliverance that is coming, but hear me, it's not when this is over. The deliverance that's coming that we want is when we're with him forever in heaven. And even as we say that God's our hope, like, we've got to realize that, like, some of the frustration and the angst that we're feeling right now in the western part of the world is nothing compared to what people are feeling on the other side of the world. I had a conversation with someone this week that because of the COVID shutdowns, the growing season has been completely thrown off, and they are anticipating that double the amount of people who were going to die from starvation are going to die this year because the growing seasons have been thrown off. So something that's already horrendous, that 21,000 people a day die from starvation. That because of COVID now, that they're thinking that number is going to be 42,000 a year. Like, thank God that's not what we're facing. That's not our struggle. That we're able to at least have some funny memes. They don't care about memes. They just want something to eat. And so for us, as our posture, as we pivot into whatever next is, let's go into it realizing where hope really is. And even some of the beauty of this psalm is that it's left unanswered. It kind of ends with a comma almost. That we know that he's looking to God for hope, but we don't know that he gets it. But in the same way that we use Jesus to fill in the blanks of Ecclesiastes, as I close this morning, I want you to see how Jesus fills in the blanks of this psalm. How do we know that he's our hope? Well, one, we know that in this season, whatever is in front of us, we will not be alone. That before Jesus went to heaven, in Matthew 28, he says this, he says, "Behold, I am with you always, to the very end of the age." So if you're here and your trust is in Jesus, your faith is in Jesus, here's what you know, you're not alone. He's with you always. And if we've defined our purpose here as like helping people know Jesus better, that if that's it, one of the beautiful things that comes out of difficult circumstances is that it makes like walking through a difficult circumstance with another human being, it makes your relationship stronger. That as you walk through challenges with Jesus and he's saying, I'm not going to leave you, it's only going to make your relationship with him stronger. I mean, think about your marriage. Like, for those of you who are married and you're happy, and what created the strength? What created the depth? It was the moments where you walked through challenges together. And you got to the other side and you're like, man, we made it. Jesus is saying, hey, I actually want to walk through this season with you like that. I'm your hope. And then he says this. He says, I'm going to be with you, but he never promises it to be easy. And he says this. He says, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. He's like, I'll give you peace. He says, in the world, you will have tribulation. So like, none of us should be surprised. The hard things, like he's like, this is what's going to happen. Like in the world, you will have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world. He wants to give you hope. As you're here and as we're thinking ahead, and I think that we're all in this together, right? Are you afraid a little bit? Is your heart a little heavy? Mine is. As you look ahead and you think, man, what is the fall going to be like? Yeah. Can we just rest in Jesus where he says, in this world, you'll have tribulation. But take heart. I've overcome it. And really, we don't need to hope in anything else. Nothing else is a guarantee. There's nothing else that we can know for sure, but we can take that to the bank so long as our faith is in him. Would you pray with me this morning? Heavenly Father, I come to you and I am thankful that I can trust you. I am thankful that though in this world we have trouble, God, that in you we have one who overcame it all. And so, Father, I just pray that you would give us hope. I pray for my friends this morning that if they're looking anywhere else for hope, Jesus, they would realize that's not a good place to look, but they can find it in you. I pray for those who are scared and, maybe uncertain and they kind of feel the weight of the world. God, would you, in your grace, in this moment, let them know that you're with them. God, there might be people in this room who don't know you, Jesus, and I just pray that they would know what's available to them in the cross. God, that they would fully put their hope and fully put their trust in you. And that means they would confess their sins. They would ask you to forgive them, that they would put their hope in the fact that you died for them and you rose from the grave, and that God, in doing that they will do the same. Jesus, would you help us to rest in that? We love you and we trust you. It's in your name we pray.